What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Today we're going to do a video that you guys have requested, which is me going through the changes to my training during pregnancy. So it is quite early on. I am now 17 weeks and I will do an update pregnancy video probably next week because some things are already changing. I'm just over 4 months, so I am growing. That is kind of stopping me a little bit. So we're going to talk a little bit about how I've changed my training, what I'm doing differently, and then go through a core routine that you can do if you are pregnant or if you just want to strengthen your core. Give it a try by all means. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how I've changed my supplementation. So if you're interested in learning more or just hearing about what I've been doing, stick around.
It's a bonding program.
Okay guys, so we're going to start this workout off with chatting a little bit about how compound movements have changed. So the big moves like deadlifts and squats. I am still squatting and I am still deadlifting, but the biggest things that have changed with both is I've significantly lowered the weight. So with the straight-legged deadlift here, I have lowered the weight to only 25 a side. Normally it would be well over 55 a side, so just to give you an idea, I would say my weights have probably decreased over 50%. So with the big movements, you're holding your breath a lot when you're picking up those big weights, and you really want to avoid that with pregnancy. So keeping that oxygen flowing and that nice deep breathing, so having a weight that's this light allows me to do that. Also keeping my core in nice and tight and my back in neutral position, not hyperextending, not pulling into my low back is very helpful to making sure that things are in line and I'm not going to be pulling out my low back. As those relaxing hormones come through the body, it's a lot easier to hurt yourself, so it's really important to keep that stability. The other thing that's really changed is break time. So I've significantly increased my breaks. I feel like I need to sit and breathe between every exercise and really take a big break. So HIIT and any type of really high cardio supersets aren't really happening right now. Not too many circuits. It's more doing the exercise, taking the time to bring the heart rate back down, and then doing the exercise again. So like I said, right now I am still able to do straight-legged deadlifts. The belly is a little bit in the way when I do bend down. I find sumos are a little bit more comfortable, but I'm still able to do those big movements, just much lighter weight, keeping the core nice and tight and making sure that my breathing is on point. So as I mentioned with the deadlifts, having that wider stance is a lot easier with the expanding belly. So having my feet wider and having the kettlebell there is a great variation to a squat. You can also do a deadlift here. My hips are going a little bit below 90, so I am doing a squat. I'm not doing a deadlift, but this is also great because you really do want to strengthen your glutes during pregnancy. Your hips become really relaxed and there's just a higher chance of injury. So nice and slow, controlled motions, but also continuing to work on those glutes and to strengthen them, and the sumo squat is a great way to do that. So hip thrusts are one of the best glute exercises you can do, and they're also one of my favorites. So I've been kind of struggling getting those hip thrusts in because I really don't feel comfortable having the bar across my hips, having any pressure sitting there. And cable pull through is a great hip hinge variation of a hip thrust. So it is going to target very similar muscles to a hip thrust, but it allows me to bring that cable through my legs and not have any pressure on my hips, on my little baby. So having your feet just a shoulder width apart, a little bit over, and focusing on pulling that rope through your legs using your glutes and hamstrings and not your arms. So the motion is very similar to a hip thrust. It allows me to really work on my glutes, focus on the back of my body without using my quads, and take that pressure off my belly. And as I mentioned earlier, breathing is one of the things that I've really been working on and something that's super important to focus on when you are pregnant. Avoiding holding that breath when the tension gets high in the lift, in the exercise, and continuing to breathe through your nose, inhale and exhale through your mouth as slow and as controlled as possible. The glute medius is one of those muscles that really gets overlooked when we're doing any type of core or glute training, but it's so, so important in stabilizing and in helping with the overall strength. So I've really been trying to train my glute medius as much as possible. And here I'm just doing a band abduction. You can use the abduction machine. You can do monster walks. There's lots of variations in working your glute medius, but it really does help with the fact that those hips are really loosening up, and I've definitely been feeling the hips let go. I'm way more flexible, but because of that, I'm also way more prone to injury and making any type of quick motion. So I'm no longer doing any type of quick change of position movements, and I'm no longer doing any type of like slider lunges, slide anything where I could pull my hip out or push something into a place where I really don't want it to be. When it comes to upper body training, the biggest thing that has changed for me is my strength. It has significantly gone down, and that's okay. It was a little bit of a, ego shutdown, but now I'm okay, now that I understand what's happening. So basically, I've been doing the same type of exercises. I feel pretty comfortable training upper body overall. I just make sure that my core is very tight and that I'm using much lighter weight, something where I'm not having to hold my breath or really strain my abdomen. Another focus that's been when it comes to training upper body is really trying to strengthen my back and my rear delt. So I've been noticing my posture change because I'm a little bit more rolled forward. I have quite a bit more weight in my chest and a little bit more weight in my stomach. So I'm starting to lose that good posture that I've had. So I've really been focusing on strengthening my back, prepping it for the weight that's about to come, because this is just the beginning. And doing so will get those rear delts and those rhomboids in this exercise particularly really fired up, tucked back in, tucked into place, and strengthen them for what's to come when it comes to the weight gain that comes with pregnancy. When it comes to supplementation, that's basically been non-existent the way that it was at least before I was pregnant. So I'm not taking any pre-workouts, of course, no additional supplements. I do drink protein powder, which my midwife says is completely okay. I have a scoop in my coffee in the morning, and then if I feel I need a little bit more protein, which the baby does need more than I usually need, I do add another scoop in a smoothie during the day. I also take vitamin D during the day. I take vitamin C, omegas. It's really good for the baby's brain and mama's brain. And then I take my prenatal and my B12, and that is the only thing that I'm taking right now, the only type of supplementation I'm doing during pregnancy. A lot of you guys have been asking about ab training and whether I've been training abs while pregnant, and I don't usually train abs anyways. I don't really want to add any mass to my midsection or tighten my rectus abdominis, which is my six-pack. I usually focus on my core, which is the transverse, the glutes, the lower back, and the obliques. So this type of training is great during pregnancy because it helps us keep those muscles tight and engaged and allows you to have control over them. It also allows you to strengthen your lower back and your glutes, which are really important, and it puts a lot of focus in that breathing, which is something that we want to be focusing on all the time. So this is a little routine that I like to do just a couple of times a week. So although you will find all of these movements are a little different, they're all going to have very similar focus, which is keeping the belly button nice and tight and sucked into the spine, keeping the breathing, controlled breathing with your movements, keeping your glutes engaged, and keeping your core engaged. And I just want to note that this type of core training is so important in general, not just when you're pregnant. It's great if you have a desk job and you're sitting a lot, so you're not really utilizing your core. If you're trying to improve those big lifts, if you're an athlete who needs to work on core stability, or if you're anybody who just wants to have less back pain, strengthen the glutes, strengthen the core a little bit. You can give this routine a try anytime. You do not need to be pregnant to try this. And as if you guys didn't hear me talk about glutes before I was pregnant enough, we're going to talk about them all the time now. So strengthening those glutes, getting them fired is so, so important into helping those hips stay in place, avoiding injury. And glutes are a huge part of the core, one we often forget to train. It doesn't always need to be heavy lifting. Of course, if you're trying to grow those glutes, you might want to throw in some heavy lifting, but this is a great way to also start a workout by warming up your glutes, getting them fired up, making that mind and muscle connection, and then starting the workout. So as you guys can see, I'm still able to train safely and do the things that I love while pregnant. If you are wanting to train, if you're brand new to exercise, make sure you consult your doctor. I've done this for 10 years. That's why I'm carrying on with it. So make sure that you listen to your body and you're doing what's right for you and your baby and your pregnancy. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your continued support. I love the feedback that I've been getting on the videos. I love that you guys are enjoying the pregnancy journey as much as I am. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want to share with me, please leave it in the comments below. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.